going on, everybody? So, just a couple things that I wanted to speak about today. Mainly, is once we get Trump back into office, where do we go from there? You know, a lot of people seem to think that all we need to do is get Trump back and he's just going to wave his magic wand and everything's going to be wonderful. And that's just not the case. Uh, there are quite a few really major things. I mean, just getting him back in, to be honest with you, is really the easy part compared to the stuff that we're really going to need to do. Uh, and then I just want to talk about also people managing their expectations. I see some people saying stuff that's just, I mean, a little off the walls. When there's something to celebrate, you should celebrate and stop crying like a sad Sally. Take a win when you get it. But anyway, before we get too into it, I just want to talk about my sponsor real quick. Today's sponsor is Augusta Gold. Mark Levin is a big believer in Augusta Gold. According to Mark, they won't just sell you, they educate you so you can make your own decision. Be like Mark. Get your free gold IRA guide at covfefe.click/IRA. Covfefe.click/IRA. It's also on the screen and it will be in the description below. Anyway, so a lot of people think that all we need to do is get Donald Trump back in office and all of our problems are going to go away. And as I said before, my sponsor, that getting him back is probably the easy part. Okay. How did we get to where we are today? And does it really have to do with politicians and elections? Or does it have more to do with a economic and financial system? Okay. Uh, the bottom line, and when you look at, don't take my word for it, when you look at Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum and all the beautiful stuff that they want to do, you've got to ask yourself, like, what's going on here? Who thinks of this stuff? Why are they doing this? You don't notice how they all want this digital currency, right? And they're all against Bitcoin and crypto and all that, but they want to create their own version of that. And all you really need to do is take a good look at the China Social Credit Score and see what these guys have headed our way. For a long time, the American people, as well as all the other people around the world, have been oppressed. You know, here in America, we fought the Civil War, and a lot of people think that slavery ended with the Civil War. That's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is it really just begun. Now, what do I mean by that? Obviously, we stopped enslaving African Americans. Yeah, sure. Instead, we enslaved everybody else, including African Americans. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, slavery was wrong and it needed to be ended, right? No dispute there. However, the solution was to enslave us all. And they were very, very successful in that. Look at the Fed. Look at what we've done to interest rates. Look at who can and cannot get a loan. Look at the car prices, for the love of God. Holy shit. I mean, how's in my generation, 40 grand or so. Now, you can't touch real estate here in New York anyway, for less than 450, 500, upwards of six. How are people supposed to pay that? And with that rapid rate of inflation, how does that even happen? Right? So you got to think about it. Let's say tomorrow we get Trump back in office. Okay, great. Guy's got the skill to fix the situation that we're in. He's got the will to do it. Now all he needs to do is make better personnel decisions in his second term. But here's the thing: he only has 4 years the second time, and obviously we know our elections are run like crap. How does he come in and fix everything without us being in the same boat if we lose another election, right? One of the big things with this election theft is there's too much money. There's too much money in politics. Things are just easily bought and sold. Um, well, A, we need to take the money out of politics, but B, we need to change the system so not only one group of people have all the money. You know, the rise of Donald Trump was a very big problem for these guys because you had a guy who already had everything he wanted and needed financially and couldn't be bought because of it, right? It's a lot different than taking an Obama, who the clown wasn't even capable of making, more than $1 million on his own. And then when he leaves office, he's worth 20, 30, or $40 million. And now, forget it, he's got to be worth over 200 million in that ballpark anyway. How does that happen? Look at Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and all these clowns. Well, here's the thing, guys. We need to go back to a gold-backed system. That's part of the reason why I'm pushing Augusta Gold, by the way, because I know one or two things is going to happen. One, they issue in the Great Reset, and then we have a situation like happened in Lebanon where we wake up one morning and inflation, or they devalue our currency by 90% like they did in Lebanon, right? What would you do if you're only left with 10% of your wealth? Secondly, what would happen to your retirement fund if that happened? More the reason to get the gold guide, huh? But so then the answer would be to invest in something that's going to stay consistent, which is precious metals. Imagine we had a system backed by precious metals. Like I said, one or two things is going to happen. We're either going to go towards the Great Reset and we'll have inflation like nobody's business and they'll usher in a digital currency and we'll all lose our asses, or we're going to go back to a gold-backed standard. Either way, by the way, putting your 401k and IRA into gold is a good idea because if we go to a gold-backed system, your 401k is going to go through the roof if it's backed in gold. And on the other side of it, if we go the Great Reset route and we have a devaluation of currency in the 90% or so, gold and silver is still going to hold its value. It's win-win. That's why I've been pushing Augusta Gold. Covfefe.click/IRA. But as I was saying, we really need to start thinking about A, how do we get our guy back? Because if we don't get him back, we're not switching the financial system. And then B, a new financial system. Here's the thing. For as long as we allow the cabal and all the companies that they own, which is, by the way, everything, right? Then they're forever going to have us enslaved. Here's the problem, is it's so incestuous that even if I wanted to support only patriot businesses, how the hell would I do that? How would I do that? At some point, the things that I need are owned by the cabal, from my cell phone, the actual phone, to the cell phone carrier, to the internet service provider to where am I getting my electric in my house from? Where are the clothes that I'm wearing come from? Where is the food that I eat come from? The toys my kids play with. It just on and on and on and on and on. And everything is owned by Vanguard, BlackRock, and these companies. And here's the problem with it. I make a purchase to these companies. They then use my money against me. But how do I not make these purchases with these companies when there is no alternative on our side? And how could there be an alternative on our side when the people in charge of making decisions of who gets loans and who don't are the bankers? They're the cabal. They're not going to give all that much money to people that they can't control, especially if they know they can't control you. Look at the media, all owned by the same people. Look at the social media, up until Elon Musk and Donald Trump, all owned by the same people. Don't kid yourself. Getter's not much better. You, Jason Miller, 4 accounts I'm on Getter, okay, because Mr. Fuckface doesn't like cannabis. Well, this is what I got to say to you, Miller, you snake. And that's the problem too, right? In our movement, first of all, please, if you use the word grifter, I have a rope and a very tall cliff. I got a task for you. Please, the word grifter. Here's the problem in our movement. If you're somebody in our movement and you want to make a living, people don't want to support you. Because if you tell them, hey, listen, I have an item that I think that you'd be interested in, they don't want to support you. They want to give you this and then label you as a grifter. But they'll gladly, with a smile, go to Amazon and buy that same item. We got to wake the fuck up, people. We need to start supporting our own. We need to bring back small business, right? Think about COVID. Do you think they would have been able to pull the tyrannical nonsense that they got away with as long as they got away with it if there were more small businesses? What did a majority of the small businesses do? They gave the government this. Why? They had employees that needed to be fed. They had a building that needed to be paid for. They needed to make an income. They had everything that they owned invested into this business that they weren't going to allow to fail. Right? They had electric bills to pay for the business. They had a mortgage to pay for their house. They didn't require their employees to be vaccinated. They didn't do any of that stuff. A lot of them didn't even close. Some did. Some were quasi-opened until the cops passed by, and then they were closed. Good for them. But look at what the corporations did. They all toted the government line, right? Vaccine passports, mandates, masks. Right? We need to change our financial system. Nobody's talking about it. 2 things nobody talks about: securing elections, financial system. I understand, for the love of God, that you guys want to talk about Pfizer and you guys want to talk about Hunter Biden's laptop. But if we don't get a decent person into office and then change the system, as I said, we're going to be right back where we are now. See, here's the problem if you don't change the system. Trump comes in, he makes the changes. During that 4 years, the cabal continues to get filthy rich because anything he changes is going to also benefit them, because the more money we have, the more money we spend on their companies. So him fixing the economy makes them richer. They end up rigging another one because they have more money than we do. And we end up right back to square one. How long did it take Joey B to destroy Trump's work? Less than 6 months, right? So that's the thing. And the last thing that I want to talk about here before I end this, is getting a little long, is we need to have realistic expectations. One of the things I keep seeing on my social media posts, number one, I report news, right? I don't make the news. I don't create the news. Secondly, in regards to the congressional hearing and Kevin McCarthy, look, I'm not a fan of Kevin McCarthy. I've said this from day one, but I can't be a liar either. He's doing the right thing. Why is he doing the right thing? I have a good idea, but it's irrelevant. He's doing the right thing. You know, some of the stuff that came out of the Twitter hearing yesterday with Boebert and MTG, another one I'm not a very big fan of, but she did good yesterday, is, oh, well, when is something going to happen? Nothing happened. Something that happened. You guys sound like fucking idiots. Knock it off. Have realistic expectations. Congress cannot prosecute. You know this. I know this. The DOJ is corrupt. You think Merrick Garland's going to prosecute anybody? Once again, realistic expectations. So does that mean that we shouldn't uncover anything then? We have the House, right? We got to do what we can with it. Now, I would say let's not allow these investigations to distract us from doing what we need to do to secure the election. I'm with you there. However, realistic expectations. You guys, some of you just cry. Good fuck. Really? It's obnoxious. One word comments. Please don't comment on my social media posts. If you're going to write one word comments, don't comment, please. Because it takes more time to figure out what the fuck you're even saying than it's even worth, right? If you can't be committed enough to write more than a one word comment, don't write anything. The videos, BitChute, some asshole clown. You want to keep doing the thumbs down. You don't even listen to the video. That's good. Well, we got to do thumbs down because you don't like the news. I don't make the fucking news. Okay? I could do like everybody else and just make shit up and make millions of dollars doing it because you guys seem to love that, right? I could do that stuff, the hopium stuff too. Whoa, the military tomorrow. We're all saved. Everybody, millions of dollars for everybody. Yeah. How do you like that, right? You gonna hit the like button now? Shit. We need to have realistic expectations. And we need to start fighting the right battles. We're not doing it. We're just going wherever the fucking wind blows us today, wherever the media, the mainstream media wants us to go, and Twitter trends. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the Twitter trend is. If we lose 2024, we're fucked. So we could keep trying to make ourselves as famous as possible. And Twitter Spaces, you know, I liked the Twitter Spaces when I first got back on Twitter. But the problem is it's the same fucking space over and over and over again. Doesn't matter who's hosting it. It's we got COVID and COVID and COVID and COVID and COVID and COVID. The vaccine, COVID, J6, COVID, J6. Fuck. None of that stuff matters, guys. Wake up. If we do not win 2024, prediction, we're fucked.